WrestleMania Night 1 is officially in the books, and my God, did we have a heck of an evening last night. Guys, I mean, we finally made it. The Showcase of the Immortals is here. It happened, and we got a lot to talk about today. Welcome to 716 Sports Entertainment special review of WrestleMania 41 Night 1. I am your host, Mike Cefaletto, joined by Mr. Sean O'Neill and Mr. T. Reese, and we're here to break it all down for you guys and go into what we liked, what we didn't like, and as always, give you our fun banter on everything that happened at the biggest show of the year. And as always, guys, please like, subscribe, and enable notifications. Thank you guys so much for all of the support that you gave us over the last few days and this past week. I mean, our channel has nearly doubled in size, and we can't tell you how much we really, really appreciate it. So, guys, help us get to 100 subscribers, and let's just keep this going. We're so happy to be doing this, and we really enjoy interacting with you guys and everything that has been brought about so far in this fantastic wrestling season that we had. So. Guys, the main show started off with Triple H came out to the ring. Triple H seemed to awfully take the Hunter Hearst Helmsley into the humble Hearst Helmsley over the course of this show because boy oh boy did he have several times where his entrance music had to be played and he had to be doing his thing, but he did come out and welcome us all to WrestleMania and made note, obviously, of the Netflix era and the fact that, this is being simulcast all across the world and everybody's kind of getting their opportunity now to watch WrestleMania all together as a kind of a complete global audience. So I wanted to spend a minute to talk about that and also talk about the stage, the setting, kind of the way the whole thing looked, and then we'll kind of get into sort of the news of everything that kind of went down, and then we'll go into sort of the match breakdown for each one of them as well. But what did you guys think overall of the set, the way it looked, the way it was kind of the show overall was presented, if you will?
I thought that
Um,
the stage was incredible. That might be the biggest WrestleMania stage I think they've ever made. Because I mean, it was literally the size, almost the size of the state, that back half of the stadium. I mean, it was incredible, and then the way they used all the screens to make the presentation for the wrestlers coming out was, I mean, chef's kiss. I mean, it really, if you were there, you probably really thought you were part of the show.
Dude, their entrances, the one thing I will say across the show is each superstar's entrance using the video boards and everything they had set up there was absolutely top tier. I mean, we've always said that WWE's production crew is like there's nobody who stands with them. Between the videos they make, like the promo videos we saw throughout the night, the entrances. I mean, the only thing that's ever a little bit lacking nowadays is the music a little bit for their entrance themes for the newer stars. But it was just top tier production. I'm not shocked, obviously, that Triple H came out and being the Hall of Fame inductee that he is this year to thank everyone for being there. And I mean, is there anything more iconic than his welcome to either Raw or WrestleMania that he does? I don't think so. And the one last point I want to make is in regards to Triple H, I don't think there's anybody better who could have taken the reins from Vince. I'm not gonna lie. I'm glad that Shane isn't in the picture anymore because I think that could have posed a problem and prevented Triple H from taking WWE into this Netflix era and where they needed to go. And I don't think we'd have the product that we currently have.
Yeah, completely agree. I loved the way the sort of the background looked, and I don't know if this has ever happened before, but it was really cool to see that there was like seating as well that
Mhm.
was sort of above where the wrestlers were coming out, and then there was also they kind of showed it. I think like at the end of the show, they showed like the side of it as well, the entranceway, and there were also like kind of like luxury box kind of seats
Yep.
like on the side there too. And God, those must have cost a pretty penny. But those that was really cool to see. And I don't think I can't recall they've ever done anything like that before. And I was like,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. Like like what an experience that had to be to like be able to be like sitting right above that, and like looking down at that the whole time. That was pretty neat. I really enjoyed that.
That's that
I
Netflix money, man. You're getting that Netflix money, the television
that
money, and you can
that
spend all
TKO
kinds
money.
of money right now. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm gonna be honest with you. I would have even came out to the Tiffany's Barbie house. I would have walked out to that. I mean, even that was beautiful. But I'm sure we'll get into all
Yeah, absolutely. So the main card proper opened up with the winner of the 2025 Men's Royal Rumble, Jey Uso, with his final chance to defeat the Ring General Gunther. And boy, oh boy, what a hell of a match this was. The just in WrestleMania fashion, this opened up with all of the pomp and circumstance, right? Jey Uso did his usual come through the crowd. This took a long time for Jey to get to the ring, but it was cool to see the what do they call it? The Raider at cheerleaders,
that. Hmm.
kind of all going up and down the ring and just 60,000 strong, yeeting all the way for him down to the ring. Absolutely fantastic. They presented Jay like a mega star, and he
Yeah,
looked and he felt the part. So when we got into this match proper, Gunther had a relatively standard entrance, for Gunther. I mean, Gunther looked good. He looked like a killer, like he always does. This match to me, it felt main event worthy. I loved Jay's entrance, and Gunther and Jay went to town on each other. I mean, Gunther chopped the crap out of him, and they were hitting each other with power bomb, or Jay kicked out of a really fantastic power bomb, and they were chopping each other at the end, and the super kicks and the splashes and everything. And I thought that this match was absolutely fantastic, and I'm so glad that Jay got the win. And, I think he just looked like $1 million. And this was a great way to kick off the card. And now, Sean, I'll let you start first on this one because you had made mention that you had thought if this match opened the show that Jay was going to win 100%. So I will
so
pass it to you for your thoughts.
yes, I made my prediction for this one based on where I thought it was on going to be on the card. And obviously, with WWE coming in and opening this, basically their season finale, their Super Bowl of events, you want to start the crowd out happy. And I mean, you come out and see that entire crowd eating the way that they were. The new outfit that Jay was wearing, that vest was pretty badass.
Mhm.
And to see them come out, and honestly, Jay brought the game today. Like he doesn't normally super impress me in the ring because he's doesn't really have a whole lot of variance to his moves, but he made the most of what he could do. And like that reversal of Gunther's powerbomb into a powerbomb of his own. And the only thing I wasn't a super big fan of was how fast Gunther tapped out. I think that it was a little bit on the quick side, especially for somebody who's as big and as tough as he is. I think that he should have either struggled a little bit more or Jay kept it out until he passed out. But regardless, we got to the point that we all wanted, crowd happy, and Jay gets to yeet that title back to the Samoan dynasty.
Absolutely. And I just want to say the best, you said it, Sean, the best was legendary. I mean, the way they filmed it from the back was, I mean, that was great alone. And don't forget, Jay kind of alluded to it on SmackDown, or was it SmackDown or the pre-show, where he was kind of like, "Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go in there with four. Maybe I'll do my 4 moves or my 5 moves to get in the ring. I don't know what I'm
Yep.
gonna do." But I mean, that match went. And it was interesting to have it even lead out the night. I didn't expect it to lead out the night. I thought usually in that spot you would probably do the New Day match, but then we'll talk about that. And I'm pretty much I know why they didn't lead out with the New Day match, but I mean, bottom line, man, I mean, that was an incredible match. It ended great. You're right about the tap. I thought that maybe Gunther, maybe let him pass out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pass out from the sleeper hold, pull the arm up. It'd have been even more dramatic if you picked his arm up 1, 2, and then that third one, you're going to think that maybe he's going to kick out and he doesn't. I thought you would have got a bigger pop if that even happened. But either way, I can't complain. I mean, Jay pulled it off. He did some things we hadn't seen him do in the ring before. I mean, I give that match probably 4.5 stars.
Yeah.
He definitely deserves his flowers for that match.
Yeah, 100%. And I loved that Jimmy came out after the fact and, they embraced and, it just to your points, guys. I mean, all around fantastic moment. Great way to, to get the crowd happy and sort of just kick off, what was to be a pretty fantastic show. This led us into our second match.
I'm going to say before you go to the next one, Mike.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned his walk down the arena to the ring. I want to say WWE had better paid those dancers overtime for the time they had to dance. I sitting there, I'm watching. I'm like, I know these people got to be dead tired right now. Still going. I'm like, yo, they better have paid them some money.
Well, to your point, it was kind of funny too because Jay came in through the crowd, but they had dancers on the ramp, and it was like I was
And
thinking,
the
like,
DJ.
why are they even there?
And of course,
You could have probably had them come out just do a little dance and whatever, nothing too serious, but they were going hard the
The
whole
whole
time he was
time.
well,
walking down.
don't
I was getting
don't
tired watching them walk down the stairs.
so don't forget they had to.
And one other thing, the filming of him walking out the ring with the belt over his shoulders backwards for Jay, and probably a WrestleMania moment, is definitely going to be an iconic moment.
Yeah.
Don't forget too, during that entrance, they had to have that product placement for that DJ for Fatal Fury.
Oh,
Dude doesn't even enter through the entrance, and you have the product placement at the entrance.
That's funny.
I didn't even know what was going on. I'm sitting there looking at this guy. I'm like, what is this? What are you doing?
But yeah, no, you're right. I think that picture of Jay walking away with the belt is going to be probably one of the iconic pictures from this Mania.
Hmm.
This led us into the second match of the evening, the New Day versus the champion War Raiders. This match kind of felt like the weak part of the evening for me. The New Day did obviously capture the gold here, in kind of really lackluster fashion. I mean, the match itself was mostly fine. I mean, there wasn't like really any particular high spots. In the beginning, the War Raiders really seemed to be getting the upper hand for the most part of the match. And then the New Day kind of just I don't exactly know if like Kofi was sort of holding Ivar it was Ivar who took the pin, but I
Yeah,
believe it was like I don't know if Kofi was like holding his legs down from him being able to kick out like right at the end there, and then the New Day kind of like snatched the titles and then just ran up the entrance ramp. The whole thing to me seemed like it happened really fast, and I don't know, I don't want to say like it was like unpredicted, but I had made mention during our predictions video that like something needed to happen during this match to make it worthy of being on WrestleMania. Otherwise, why did you not put that SmackDown tag team match on here? Because it was the better match and it was better built. That division's been better built. And this screamed like it needed Big E to come out and like just make something happen here. And instead, it just seemed very lackluster and almost like this could have been the main event of a Monday Night Raw. But Terrence, I know you spoke on this during the last one, so I'll pass this to you. What did you think?
When I seen so New Day came out, I'm sitting there like, okay, those are interesting. First, I thought it was like a Dragon Ball Z throwback, but then they mentioned that their outfits had to do with what's his face, the Giant,
Giant Gonzalez.
Yeah, Giant Gonzalez.
Oh,
really?
Like, okay, now I see it. Now I see it. But then when the War Raiders came out, I'm like, why they didn't put no money in their outfits? And then I realized it's an advertisement match. I'm like, okay, I see what's going on now. I mean, WWE has to do these. I guess they have to do these. One of these matches have to, promote something. I mean, like you said, the match wasn't nothing to really care about, and you could see there wasn't a lot put into this match, and I think a lot because it turned into a gimmick match with the whole advertising, War Raiders' terrible looks when they came out.
Oh my god!
I mean, this is Mania. I get you want to advertise, but do you have to put it on a wrestler now too?
Yeah.
I mean, those outfits look so bad and cheap. This is their spot. You have this big arena, and they got to come out with all this styrofoam on. I'm like, this is no good. But yeah, the match was not good at all. It was very boring. I don't even know how much of it I paid attention to, just because I just got bored watching it. But hey, it's what it is. New Day ran out of the ring with the belt, which was interesting too. Almost like they were trying to rush it, like kind of what you said, Mike. I thought they were trying to get that match over with, get them out the ring to get the night moving. And it's probably again because it was an advertisement spot, and they probably just want to get it in and get it over with.
I mean, yeah, the outfits, my God, they look like a tacky bad cosplay for the War Raiders. Like if you're I get you're doing an advertisement. But where's like the skull helmet that Triple H wore back in the day? Where's like the awesome outfits that you could have? Like you want to make these guys look like Clash of Clans warriors? Give them a damn good outfit. Have them come out with like a battle axe or something. God, cut Xavier Woods in half. I mean, I'm down for that. But I've been thinking about this match for a little while now. And they typically say that match 2 of WrestleMania is usually like the dead match. And this year continued that. I mean, it obviously we've had our issues with the Raw tag team division. And we've said this was their chance to sort of try to start righting the ship. Doesn't really feel like it did that. I mean, yeah, it gives the New Day the title, so hopefully we can get like some new stories out of it. But having them win them and then just run away without celebrating at all, even with cheating, they're bad guys. Celebrate that you cheated.
Yeah.
Like it didn't make sense to me, and it felt real awkward. And like you said, T, I I was only half paying attention during this match. I think you and I were talking more during it, Mike, than we were watching.
Yeah.
Just because it didn't bring anything super exciting to the table, which is unfortunate because the New Day are Xavier and Kofi are two pretty exciting guys in the ring.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly like it almost feels like kind of like a blur to me as well because I think I was actually like looking on my phone at like at just other things that were going on, right? Because right around now is or right after this match is when they announced the AAA thing, which we'll talk about in a second. But I was like literally like just looking at stuff on my phone because I just wasn't into this like at all. One of the things two things I wanted to point out. One, it up. One of the things I noticed when the War Raiders came out with their entrance, and I know you guys were talking about their costumes, but immediately what popped into my mind was they're Vikings again.
Yep,
Like they look like Vikings again. I was
100%.
like what is happening here? So that was kind of funny. And then also, I forgot to mention this during the last match, but I wanted to go back to our predictions because we definitely have to talk about that and include that here as well. We did all pick Jay for the first one here, and I took my first L on this match because I was convinced Big E was going to come out, and you guys did both pick the New Day, so props to
You
you
mean the
there.
Buddha?
But we'll get into it. We'll talk about our final predictions when we get into the end of the show because I did earn some extra points from SmackDown. So yeah, overall, I mean, I don't think this match needed to be on WrestleMania. And Sean, to your point about it being, kind of the bathroom break match, right? Like it very clearly kind of filled that spot. And once again, the second match just doesn't seem to do it. And I really hope that, with whatever the card ends up being tonight, that they find a better match. Like they
Oh,
do a better job with it tonight. We know that the women's triple threat is opening the show tonight, but we'll have to see whatever the second match is going to be.
tonight should be fine though because technically it's not the second match with it being two nights now.
That's true. That's true.
Mm.
So then the third match of the evening, and this one was a very highly anticipated match. I was really looking forward to this one. That was Jade Cargill versus Naomi, and Naomi came out, and she came out with with the caution tape outfit and kind of threw the caution tape thing on the entrance. Was all kind of done sort of digitally, which looked really really cool when she came out and. These two had a hell of a match. I thought it was fantastic. Their chemistry was completely on point and they looked great. There was one point where I legitimately thought Naomi was injured because she went down kind of off of a power bomb and it looked like she
Oh,
landed on her arm funny. But I think top marks all the way around for this match. Naomi's presentation from her theme to the gear that she was wearing was just extraordinary. I think Naomi looked like a megastar. The only thing I didn't really like about this was the kind of the stupid Weather Channel thing that they did in the beginning to introduce Jade. I didn't much care for. I thought that was kind of a little campy. But we got, going back to our predictions again. I picked Jade Cargill and you guys didn't, so I get the bonus point here. But it looked great. This match was top marks for me all the way around. I'll kick this one over to you, Sean. What did you think?
so it's a good match. I mean, I still have my complaints about Jade, and this match sort of showcased that a little bit again. But my biggest complaint I think about this with Naomi losing is this is a story that you could have very easily continued a little while longer, which would have required Naomi winning. And I get that you wanted to have Jade win her first big WrestleMania moment, but I think the smarter play would have been Naomi winning. I believe T, you and I agreed on that.
Mm.
They did make Naomi look real good out there. She got a lot of offense and she looked strong. This character change is working for her. Hopefully, they find a way to, even if it's like interfering with Bianca or something along those lines, something to keep her relevant because this is the most relevant she's been in 10 years. Um, and as far as Jade goes, my biggest complaint about Jade this whole time has been the amount of work and time that they've put into her. She still needs to get some more polish in the ring. And you saw that several times during this match where her moves didn't come across quite. Yes, they looked awesome, but they weren't particularly safe. Like that move she did where she reversed the whatever the hell she was going for into that like power bomb, and it was the one you mentioned, Mike. And Naomi came down, and that's part to blame on Naomi for putting her arm out to try to catch herself. But if Naomi puts her arm 1 inch further back, she has a pretty terrible broken arm. And there were a couple points during the match where a couple of the moves that were done weren't the safest. But overall, I mean, big win for Jade. The campy entrance I think was kind of funny. But it was I think it's a big moment for her, so it makes sense.
Yeah, her entrance. I'm sitting there watching because it just went to it, and I'm sitting there like, did this just switch to a commercial? What are we watching right
The
now? I
Weather
got
Channel.
confused for a second there, and then I think her of all the entrances outside of that New Day one, I thought her entrance was the weakest of day one. Outside of that New Day match, just because it didn't, none of it seemed cohesive. The cheesy video, which I mean, with all the production WWE has, that they could have did better with that. But outside of that, you're right about Jade. She definitely needs some work in the ring. She has the athletic ability, and
Oh,
you
sure.
mentioned that power bomb move. The move was pulled off fine. I think Naomi just kind of panicked and threw her arms back, so it looked a little rougher than it did.
Could have ended
Um,
bad.
yeah, but it was a move I've never seen somebody do. Throw you up, spin around, and then power bomb you. That was great. I had no problems with that. And they allowed Jade to show off her strength, show off what she can do in the ring. She definitely needs a lot of refinement. We all knew that. We knew that she's not. That has been her entire life being a wrestler. So that's going to come with time. I mean, we've seen people be a little shoddy in the ring. I mean, look at The Rock was shoddy in the ring when he first came out. I mean, you can go down the name of wrestlers who their debuts or their first spots like this at WrestleMania are always a little, you know, they feel a little off. You can see she started feeling it, getting into the groove a little later on in the match. But outside of that, yeah, I mean, it would have probably been better to let Naomi pull this one out and then stretch it out. But I think this is lining up something for tonight, like you alluded to, Sean. I think Naomi somehow gets involved in the Bianca match. Maybe she causes Bianca to lose the match because she didn't help her during the match against Jade. There's many different ways you can go with it, but I do think that match is going to be connected to that three women's match. But I mean, I give this match probably give it like 3 out of 5 stars. Probably best way I can
Maybe
go with it. I would have
maybe
gave it another half if the entrance was better for Jade, but I give it 3 out of 5.
maybe Naomi helps Bianca win, and we finally get that long-awaited character change.
I don't think she helps Bianca at all. I think if anything, she's going to cost her the match.
I still have to wait and see. Um, I like I mentioned before, I think they presented Naomi great here. I'm really glad she finally got the character refresh that she desperately, desperately needed. And yeah, Jade does need a little bit more polish, I think, in the ring, but she definitely they're presenting Jade like a star, and obviously giving her this moment, right? Like I think it's good for her. So just props all around. I enjoyed the heck out of this match.
It was way better
This
than I thought.
yeah, yeah. This led us into our next match where we all picked the same person to be the winner of this match, but Jacob Fatu defeating LA Knight to win and become the new United States champion. This match was good. I nothing spectacular about the entrances for either one of these guys. Jacob came out in a pretty cool werewolf kind of helmet thing, and he did come out initially with Solo, but Solo kind of immediately went to the back and wasn't really a factor during this match. There were a couple pretty cool spots during this match. There was one where LA Knight was kind of like going on the ropes, and he did this like really awesome, like German suplex. And then another one where Knight was, or Jacob Fatu was kind of like doing a moonsault, and then LA Knight caught him with the BFT. I thought that that was absolutely like, holy crap. Like, I'm glad that they showed the highlight of that again because that was pretty fantastic. But both guys, this match, I think, was one of the first matches, other than the ending of the very first of the Jey Uso match. This match I felt was really helped by the crowd because you could kind of tell the crowd was finally starting to come alive more during this match, and they were like really behind like both of these guys. LA Knight did his, LA Knight yeah thing a couple times during this match and really got the crowd. Like you could tell like these guys were really trying to get the crowd into it as well. But yeah, overall, I enjoyed this one very, very much. What did you think, Reese?
That was a good match. I mean, I don't think it went. We all picked Jacob to win this match, so we knew what the end game was going to be. But it pulled off much better than expected. I mean, you got a guy like LA Knight, who's kind of a throwback '90s type style wrestler with the microphone talk and how he cadences everything. Um, and Jacob is Jacob. I mean, you don't get no better than that. They put on a great show. I had no problems with this. We did expect, like, we thought there was going to be some sort of interference. It was a straight up win, no interference involved in it. The only thing I want to say is Wade Barrett. We got to do better, buddy. We got to do better. He had criticized. I think he criticized LA Knight. I'm sitting there listening to him. He criticized LA Knight for what is LA Knight doing? He wrestled 24 hours ago and he's doing this. I'm like, well, so did Jacob. He was.
Yeah, yeah, I caught that too.
It's so weird that he said that. But outside of that, I mean, the match was great. It was a pretty good match. I give that match, in my opinion, probably like 3.5 stars out of 5. Because the only reason I don't push it to 4 or 5 is just for the simple fact of we already knew Jake was going to win that match, so that kind of takes a little lush off of it. But outside of that, it was a fun match. And don't forget, Jacob got the mean pop when he won too, which was interesting too.
Oh yeah, yeah,
He
absolutely.
got that belt, and everybody was cheering it on.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what they do when they finally have the thing between him and Solo. That's like absolutely going to happen at some point.
Sean?
Pretty standard for what we expected. I mean, we all knew Fatu was going to win going in. They're making him out to be a megastar. He is going to he's a future world champion. I think that his entrance was cool. I mean, nothing super like catchy or that really stood out. The mask was cool. I think they should lean more into the fact that they keep calling him the Samoan werewolf. I mean, it's a pretty interesting thing that they could sell merch off of. Really surprised that we didn't see bloodline interference. That really was where I thought this was going to go off the rails, simply because we know how everything with the bloodline goes. But I don't know. I think Knight did a real good job of putting him over, and for the fact that they're two pretty straightforward guys in the ring, they put on a really entertaining match, and the right guy won with Fatu.
So during the kickoff show, we got the announcement that WWE had acquired AAA Wrestling, and during the next match, we did kind of see some of the folks who were, kind of the people who were run the AAA promotion in the crowd. Vikingo specifically was in there as well, and I know he's kind of one of the big names down there in AAA as well. But this led us into obviously the greatest wrestler of all time, who had his match initially was supposed to be with Rey Mysterio, but as we had mentioned, Rey Mysterio on our news episode yesterday, that Rey Mysterio suffered an injury on SmackDown and had to be replaced by Rey Fenix. So the match ended up being the greatest luchador of all time, El Grande Americano, versus Rey Fenix, and this match was all over the place. And I'll kick this over to you, Sean, to kind of give your thoughts on the match, your thoughts on everything that happened in the match, and how you feel about it.
This match was everything that I wanted it to be. It we have the greatest WrestleMania streak of all time continuing, and introducing the wrinkle of purchasing AAA is huge, and I really I really thought that the face, even with switching over to Phoenix, I'm a little surprised that they gave had him lose already like that in such a big thing. But I mean, I don't think the loss hurts him since it was as a replacement, and since it was I refuse to say that it was a cheating on the part of El Grande. It was an assisted win. But I think that, and then the moves they do, the commitment, the character work here, and I've never seen a wrestler more committed to the craft than El Grande Americano, and I'm real excited to see where this goes with his rematches against like Vikingo and all those great feuds he had while he was wrestling in Mexico.
Well, the great thing is that first of all, AAA. Now we're going to get some more. We're going to Lucha special shows. We're going to get, which now you can cross over NXT, WWE into that. Have some of those guys jumping matches and things like that. So that's going to be fun because WWE has never invested in any type of wrestling in Mexico. So this is going to be interesting to see how they carry this going forward. I did like the way they introduced Vikingo. You know, they let him kick El Grande in the face. Another homage to the trolls on the internet. You know, it's disrespectful. So then you let another luchador, current luchador wrestler, get his hands on him a little bit. I'm going to be honest with you. The whole the whole metal and the mask thing, run with it. Just run with it. Because it became part of the match then. Because remember when Phoenix ran across the ring, he kicked him in the head. I'm sitting there looking like, did he really hurt himself? Then you think about it, he kicked the metal thing in his head.
Yep.
And that's what got him the match. So Phoenix didn't really lose. He didn't really lose this match at all. So it doesn't hurt him. It makes it gives El Grande, you know, more of a push to ride this out a little bit longer. And again, it was a great match. Those are two good wrestlers in the ring. Got around. They used every portion of that ring, outside, inside. You couldn't have a better match than that for those two. I'm definitely going to give that one a 4 out of 5.
Yeah, I agree.
A couple points I want to make with this one. First, I adored El Grande Americano's entrance. I love that they did the the English dubbing over the Spanish speaking thing. That was amazing. I thought that was I was getting such a chuckle out of that. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. And I also think to your point as well about, Phoenix, while he did lose, I think he gets he's been in the company 3 weeks and he gets a WrestleMania match and he lost because of cheating. I think that that's fine. I think they presented him like a star and he looked great and the two had incredible chemistry in the ring together. As a technical match, this was the best match of the evening. Like, I mean, these guys had incredible chemistry. There were so many incredible moves. When Phoenix ran across the ropes the one time and did that like jumping Hurricane Rana thing and just threw him over, and then El Grande turned it into almost like a backward suplex kind of thing. It was just outstanding. Like it was just top to bottom, one of the best in-ring matches of the evening. Not the best spectacle of the evening, but just one of the best in-ring matches of the evening. I give it top marks as well. I think it was fantastic.
Well, let me point this out too, because now with them having AAA, you can now you can use that promotion to start. You can kind of use some of the young NXT guys and throw them in there a few times just to get to some experience too. So you're going to probably see some really interesting matches going forward. I think this AAA thing is going to have some sort of involvement with El Grande at some point, just to keep promoting it. There's going to be a crossover. I can guarantee there's going to be a crossover. You're going to probably see someone like Vikingo come out at some point, or some of the other wrestlers that are there. I can see some interference from the AAA company.
So before we go on, you're going to lose me for a second here. I'm having some technical difficulties, so you two go on for a minute without me, okay?
One of the other things I want to point out with this one as well before we get to the next match is I was the only one to pick El Grande Americano in our predictions, so this kind of brings me up one on you guys. Although when we get to the end, we'll talk about our total count here, but I was very pleased to go ahead and pick that one.
Listen, buddy, listen. The seats just keep being kept warm is all we're doing right now.
That's right. That's right. This led us into our next match of the evening for the WWE Women's Championship, where
Mhm.
champion Tiffany Stratton took on Charlotte Flair, the winner of the 2025 Women's Royal Rumble. This match was not as much of a dumpster fire as you guys kind of thought it was going to be. I was really hyping this match up, but a couple of things I really liked about this match, and then I'll kick it over to you. Kick it over to you, Reese. I think I really enjoyed Tiffany's entrance, in particular. I love that she came out of the Barbie box. I thought that that was pretty cool that they allowed her to do that. And I think that they did the right thing by having Tiffany win, and it really felt like almost like they called an audible because I know you guys have been talking about it, ad nauseum over like our past 6 or 7 videos that like this feud felt a bit too real and they needed desperately to maybe just end this. So I gotta feel like the original plan was for Charlotte to win and them to do more matches and eventually give Tiffany her flowers. But I think that like they were just like, you know what, we gotta be done with this. And if Tiffany's gonna go over at the end, let's just have her go over now. And yeah, yikes. I mean, for some of the stuff that happened during this match, but I'll kick it over to you and you want to go ahead and give your thoughts on the match.
Well, I mean, we were both right. Let's put it that way. I mean, the first half of the match was fine. I mean, other than the smacking and punching the hell out of each other, which that's part of the match. I expected that to be most of the match. They came out of it fairly well to kind of get the match going, but then the second half of the match, ooh baby, that thing got messy. I mean, it really got messy. Even like Wade Barrett, I think, even mentioned something about looks like Tiffany, her inexperience is starting to catch up because they were botching some moves. She didn't like she kind of forgot her spots a few times in the match. Um, I thought that I mean, I guess it ended the way it did, and I pretty much said, I think that they want to get this over with. I don't think they wanted to keep going with this, just like you alluded to. We mentioned it during the week. They want to get this match in over with and move on to something else because it got scrapped. I mean, Tiffy chipped her tooth. I mean, she had a bruised forehead, bruised shoulder. A few times I've seen Charlie even clock her a few times, say you know, some some not so colorful things to her in her ear. You can hear it on the microphone, which you got to blame WE. You got to do better with that. You can't allow us to be able to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that means you got too many mics sitting around there, and this is a match you probably should have shut off some of those microphones.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, guys.
No, no problem. But outside of that, I mean, like I said, it started out great. The end of it got real sloppy and weird. So, hey, listen, Tiffy has the belt. Let's get her on to somebody else, somebody younger, somebody new, and just get some other people's faces rolling around up here in this women's division. I probably give this match a 3, but it's like a close 3 just because of the way it panned out and the way WWE handled the whole thing. That's my pick. I mean, oh, and then don't forget, they let her kick out of the national selection.
Which was amazing. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I the one thing that, to your point, I mean, I was convinced at that point that's when Charlotte was going to win. And I know we had our predictions for this one. Sean and I had Charlotte winning and you had Tiffany winning this one. So good for getting that one there. But the whole night we were watching I was watching this with Sean and a few others, and of all of the matches of the evening, when Tiffany hit the prettiest moonsault to win the match, this was the only time I popped all night
Yeah.
long. I was like, yes, like, and it was such a good moment. I am so glad they made the right decision to have her win, and hopefully for this feud to be over.
So you mentioned her kicking out of the natural selection. The thing that surprised me more about that was it wasn't just a normal natural selection, it was an avalanche one. So it was a super move. And I think that right there was no way Tiffany was going to lose at that point. I mean, you have her kick out of such a humongous move from Charlotte, regardless of how the rest of the match went. I know I rejoined you guys a little bit late, so I missed the beginning. I'm assuming you talked about how hard hitting the match became, and almost a little bit of a shoot there between with the way Charlotte was throwing bombs. Um, I think that them, if they did audible to bring Tiffany as the winner, was definitely the right choice there. You don't gain anything by having Charlotte win, other than continuing what Charlotte's known for in burying people overall.
Hmm.
Like, even though her matches are fantastic, I mean, how do you what talent is ever going to want to work a storyline with Charlotte when you know where it's going to end up?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And don't forget
definitely.
too, there was also, not to cut you off, Mike, but they both had similar color outfits and similar outfits on too. So
Yeah,
I
I
wouldn't be
noticed that too.
surprised if Charlotte,
Passing the torch.
yeah, almost. I mean, you could say that, or it could be, okay, let me show you up a little bit. You're not going to get all the shine in this match. We're going to look the same in the ring.
Yeah. Yeah.
And poor Tiffany's teeth.
Well, and though props to WWE's medical staff because they got those teeth fixed in about an hour and a half after that. Because this was the second last match of the evening, and when Tiffany did her press conference after the fact, those teeth were looking fine. So, but once again, WWE with all that TKO money got that fixed real quick.
Yeah.
Oh man. So this led us into the main event of the evening, the triple threat match between CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins. And the entrances started off with Seth coming out in an initial kind of like a big black this looked like a series like a series of garbage bags. And he had a flamethrower and was kind of doing the burn it down thing from his original entrance. And then the screen went completely black and then he had on, the white coat and he did his entrance down to the ring while, the 60,000 strong were singing his song and this was awesome. Shortly followed next by Roman Reigns, who came out alone for the first time in forever. In the last 4 years, we've never seen Roman Reigns come out alone. No Paul Heyman, no nothing. And Roman Reigns looked incredible. When we were watching this, my mom was over, and she's not into wrestling at all. But boy, oh boy, was she hot for Roman Reigns because she thought he looked like $1 million. And yeah, he looked great. Like he absolutely, from top to bottom, just looked absolutely fantastic. He looked like a megastar. And then last was Punk, who came out before he did. There was an excellent video package that Punk had, kind of recapping his whole career, and they had his initial theme song. I believe it's called the Fireburns. Is that right,
Yep,
John?
by Killswitch Engage.
Yep. And
Hmm.
then after that, the Living Color group was there to do the Cult of Personality in person, which was cool. And Punk came out with Paul Heyman by his side, as was the stipulation of the match. And this led into a hell of a match, but I'll let you
My God.
guys, kind of go on about this match. I'll give my thoughts at the end here, but I'll kick this one over to you, Sean, to start it off. What did you think of the match, the entrances, and the ending?
So before even getting into the match, I really liked the change for Rollins from the all black into his like Monday Night Messiah personality there with the all white, looking like his cult leader kind of thing going on. And then, I mean, we got for Roman's entrance pretty much to be expected, other than the strangeness of not seeing Heyman by his side. But my God, that Punk video and entrance, and I don't know if I'm in the minority here, but I actually prefer the Kill Switch Engage entrance theme. But I mean, at this point, everybody associates Cult of Personality with Punk, so I get that. But just that video that they did for him was so incredible. I absolutely loved the interspersal of things from his past in with current stuff, and I I never would have thought I would have been saying this, but I am so glad that he has come back, that he's back in WWE. Like even more than during like his awesome feud with Drew McIntyre, this match and everything with it is what I think really cements it for me that I'm truly happy to see him back home for him. Um, and like I know he says it's all business, but you can tell it's more than that. As far as the match itself, I know that I picked CM Punk just because I had a hard time picking against him in this main event, but that's not where my heart was. My heart, I got to give T his credit. In my heart, I wanted what T predicted, and I know that there was a lot of talk about it, and having the swerve there of the nut shot from Heyman on both of his tribal chief and his best friend were great. I'm very interested to see in what his reasoning is for siding with Seth, because we all know Seth doesn't need a mouthpiece. If there's one thing Rollins doesn't need, it's somebody to talk for him. But I'm real interested to see where this pairing goes. Everything that these three men did in the ring, they left it all out there. They're back and forth. The stomp by Punk on Reigns when Reigns had um Rollins in the was it the guillotine,
Yeah.
was just absolutely awesome. And just everything that they did, like you could tell that these three men know each other and dislike each other greatly. It carried over into the match, and I loved it. I have a hard time seeing anything except maybe the Intercontinental match surpassing this for the rest of Mania.
Yeah, this was one of the matches that WWE has paid a lot of attention to. And there's a lot of alluding to past and everything. Their interest is alluded to the past. You made you remember that, Seth Rollins comes out in the black outfit, set it on fire, switches to the white outfit, because he's a messiah. So they alluded to that. Roman Reigns walking down to the ring by himself. You had to think about that. Like you said, Mike, we've never seen him walk out the ring by himself in the last 4 years. And then on top of that, the CM Punk, history video was, a chef's kiss. You couldn't do anything better than that. And don't forget, the entire match was alluding to all past things. You're going from CM Punk, you're doing this, the good night in front of Roman. You have Seth Rollins with the chair situation and the Shield power bomb. Is he going to do it or not? And I love the fact that they allow Roman to play with that a little bit. Oh, should I do it? Should I didn't? I thought the first time he asked him for help, I expected that. The second time, I thought for sure they were going to do the power bomb. Yeah. But they threw a swerve on us, caught us off guard for that. But hold on, fellas. Let's just say I called this from the top to the bottom.
This guy.
I called the entire thing. I need to get double points for this. I was the writing crew, and I knew exactly what was going to happen.
The whole world knew what was going to happen, T.
Oh, stop it. Stop it. Let me get my shine.
No, you know what? I
you
give
were
this
right.
man his, yeah, give this man his shine. You know what? You did call it during our predictions video. Yeah, but this was a hell of a match, and I loved, to your point, that was one of the. They spam finishers hard at the end there. One right into the next, right into the next, right? Was it, Roman hit Seth with a spear that immediately led to Punk hitting Roman with the GTS, and then going down for a stomp as Seth was like coming forward to hit him with another stomp. And yes, that spot with the shield power bomb thing where, isn't he gonna do it? And then he ended up just clocking Seth in the mouth and then proceeded to power bomb both of them through the tables. That was outstanding. And those tables, like, my God, those tables were not the normal tables that they use, because boy, oh boy, did those things look like it took a little bit of energy to get those things to give.
Those were some vicious power bombs. Vicious power bombs.
And he got Rollins up real high for that power bomb. Punk took it perfectly, but I kind of was like, for a second, I'm like, is Rollins injured? Because boy, oh boy, that looked hard.
Yeah, I got a little nervous. I had no idea which way this match was going to end. This was, if I'm going to give it, it's a 5-star match. Beginning, you're going from the entrance all the way to the ending. It's 5-star. We haven't had a whole lot of 5-star matches over the last years. This hands down one of the all-time WrestleMania classic matches.
Yeah. If I could give this more than 5 stars, I would. This match had absolutely everything top to bottom. And I will say, at what point does Roman Reigns learn that if Seth Rollins is open for a chair shot, you don't take the chair shot? It never ends well for him.
So let's talk about that ending specifically then. So the ending sequence was all three men were down after that sequence I mentioned where all three of them hit each other's finishers on one another. All three men are down in the ring. Seth is in the far corner of the ring. Roman to the right, Punk to the left by the 2 turnbuckles. Paul Heyman, really didn't do much at all for the majority of the match. It was just kind of there. They showed his facial expressions a few times. But Paul went to get a chair. And initially it wasn't, we weren't sure what he was going to do. Was he going to just throw it in the middle and have, Roman and Punk just be like, I don't know who he's giving it to. So he ended up very clearly getting the chair to Punk, and the commentary team had made, a comment about it, like, I guess he's made his decision, right? So passes the chair to Punk and gets in the ring and gets, right behind Punk and hits him with a nut shot before he's even able to hit Roman at all with the chair. So then at that point, he picks up the chair, gets on his knees, and hands it to Roman and like, here you go, my tribal chief. This was always for you. And you could see Roman being like, haha, I got him. Like I got him. I knew he was mine, and I knew that this was gonna go my way. And then after that, he hit him a few times. Roman hit Punk a few times with the chair. And then he was about to go ahead and go over and smack Rollins because Heyman was pointing it out, saying, him over there. And again, Heyman got Roman, which everybody in the arena went nuts for when Heyman got Roman with the undershot as well. And after that, I mean, Rollins picked up the chair, smashed Roman in the back, hit him with the stomp, pinned him 1, 2, 3. And Seth Rollins, I mean, he's an even bigger heel now than, I mean, he was walking that gray area before, but I mean, I know you guys made the comments about he doesn't really need the mouthpiece, but Seth Rollins is very clearly going to go full heel here. And he made his way up the entrance ramp, and Paul Heyman was giving him that look that only Paul Heyman can give to his advocates. And top to bottom, I mean, this ending sequence was fantastic.
I love the fact that no matter how heelish or facish Seth Rollins is, the crowd still loves him. He turned heel there, if that's what we call it, and hit those men with those chair shots. The crowd was still screaming his song afterwards. I absolutely love that. Plus the fact that he's the man who discovered Roman Reigns' weakness to chairs. So,
Well, I don't even know if he's even turning heels. And all three of them are anti-heroes. I mean,
yeah,
all three of them aren't really heels.
Well, Punk is a face.
Well,
Punk's a
by the
face.
crowd standards, but CM Punk is just as much as a bad guy as the next guy. I mean, he does what he needs to do in the ring too. There's no sugarcoating.
yeah,
It. And
he is kind of underhanded.
here's what I'm calling. Paul Heyman will announce, because he's already followed CM Punk. Favorite covered. Got him into the main event. Walked down to the ring with him. Roman Reigns covered. Helped him get at CM Punk. Gave him the chair. Try to finish the match. But he had one more favor to finish, and that was the Seth Rollins. And if you notice how Seth Rollins acted, it's the same way he used to act when he was the Messiah. Paul Heyman now, the same way he treated Roman Reigns as the tribal chief, is going to treat Roman Reigns Seth Rollins as the Messiah. They're going to go back to that. And he's going to be praising him and all this other stuff. I wouldn't be surprised he even gets a little faction behind him.
I'm all for that. I loved that faction.
Because if you do that, now you allude to CM Punk when he had the straight edge storyline going, where he had the characters running around with him. You got the Roman Reigns with the bloodline carrying. He's the only one that hasn't had any type of faction carrying around outside of when he was with the Shield, right?
Yeah.
So now
he had Buddy Murphy.
He had Buddy Murphy for a little while, but that doesn't
I guess. I mean, but him is taking place of. He's going to do the Buddy Murphy thing. So I can see this steamrolling in some other things and maybe even wheeling in some other characters into this whole storyline too. So he's going to probably have his own little faction. Here's where he's going to probably go on a run. And I think he takes, in my opinion, here's where the paths cross with Roman Reigns. He's going to go after Jey Uso for the belt.
Yeah.
I could absolutely see that. And I think that, and we were kind of debating this a little bit last night as well. Sean kind of made an absolutely ridiculous comment that that Roman Reigns was not as big a star as Seth Rollins is, but neither here nor there. But we ended up kind of getting that all sorted out when we ended up saying that Seth Rollins was probably a better wrestler than Roman Reigns, but Roman Reigns is by far, the bigger star. And we both agreed that Jon Moxley is the worst of the three. So,
Oh, mention wasn't
and
that interesting? He brought up Mox's name.
and he did
But
say
he mentioned it as Mox,
he did
not
say
as
mock.
androids.
Yeah, he did say mocks specifically during the match, which was interesting. And we'll get into that. We'll get into that one of these days when we have some more time to breathe after WrestleMania, where we'll break down the Shield and everything that happened with all three of those guys and their the highlights there. But yeah, to your point, I mean, I think that of these three guys, I think the one that needs the most direction now, I mean, going into this was Rollins, right? Because, and I'm gonna give my reasoning behind this, because Roman obviously he's established, right? Like Roman, he's a megastar. He's the biggest star in the company. The last 4 years, that bloodline story drew $1 billion, right? I mean, it made the WWE what it is. I mean, him coming out and that whole thing leading up to Cody winning last year was just cinema, right? It was the reason everybody watched. Every time Roman Reigns was announced for anything, the ratings skyrocketed, right? And then you've got CM Punk, who's also a mega star. He comes back, and you know what? He didn't need to win this, right? He wanted the main event, and he got the main event. And you could and regardless of who wins tonight, be it Cody or be it Cena, and we'll talk about that in a second. Um, you could very easily fit CM Punk into a match with either one of those guys. You've got a story ready for CM Punk and John Cena at Money in the Bank to talk about what happened between the two of them, 12 years ago when Punk left the company, and you do the exact opposite thing there where Punk, or where Cena's sitting out and he kisses the title goodbye thing, right? Absolutely do that. And you've spent plenty of time with Punk and Cody as well, where they've interacted on numerous occasions. So Punk is ready to go. Whereas Rollins, yeah, he had the feud with Punk, but like, I mean, this is their third match now, right? And they may also made a point as well that Rollins or Roman has never beaten Rollins, right? So, I mean, you've got that there, but of the three of them, I kind of feel like Rollins was the one that was in the most need of like direction, if you will, because he's a main eventer in that company. And what are you going to do with him? Like, what was the plan for him after the fact, right? He's one of your biggest stars, and you needed to do something with him. And this gives him that extra bit of credibility and is going to get him to what you said, Reese, right back into that main event, right back into that title picture. And you could absolutely, although I think it's a bit too early we're not going to talk about taking the title off of Jay just yet, but now he's almost immediately the number one contender to take that title off of Jay. Immediately.
And he did.
Rollins,
He only lost. Rollins did lose one time to Roman during the reign during COVID, over the last three. He lost. Remember, he was doing the Shield throwback. He got in the ring to fight him with that on. So he
well, he's
lost.
doing mind games.
No, he won. He won that. That was a DQ.
Oh yeah, he won by DQ.
Oh, that's right.
He won by DQ. So
Right.
Roman beat him like to death, but he won the match by a DQ at that. It was the 2022 Royal Rumble. Yeah.
Rollins most needed the win out of all three of these men. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they're all first ballot Hall of Famers, all three of them.
Mm-hmm.
All of them are established in their own way. All of them are historically successful in their own ways. But Rollins lately, I mean, you've had the successes of the bloodline. Roman's had his wins with Cody, his win over Solo, all that lately. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, yeah, technically Rollins beat Punk in the steel cage match, but that wasn't the story of that match. The story of that match was obviously Reigns coming back.
Mm-hmm.
And then Punk had his feud with McIntyre. He's been beating up on Rollins. I mean, Rollins was the one who most needed a signature win here to get him back on a path of, I won't quite say redemption, but relevance, I guess.
Yeah.
Where give him, because you can't not have an athlete, a star of Rollins' caliber, and have him just floating. Like, he's not the War Raiders. He can't be there just to be taking pins for people.
Mm-hmm.
He's not the Miz.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And there was a point for the last few years they've been using him in the Miz role to kind of boost up some other characters and storylines. But
it's good for that.
Yeah.
This is, I mean, WWE has. I can't argue about the way they're laying out this whole blueprint. I mean, from top to bottom, because there's so many things you can do now going forward. I don't even know how they're going to do Monday Night Raw this week. There's going to be so much to fill in there.
Yeah.
It's going to be very interesting to see. So more than likely, the Roman Reigns will probably just won't be there Monday. I'm going to guess he's not going to be there Monday. You're going to
He's
have to,
taking time off, isn't he?
huh?
I think he's taking time
He is
off.
taking time off, but I mean, he'll probably have one more appearance before we don't see him for like 2 months.
That's what I'm saying. He probably won't be there Monday. I expect him to show up maybe the following week. You're going to have Seth have his moment. Come out with Paul Heyman. CM Punk will probably be the one to come out this week on Monday Night Raw just to, to keep the storyline brewing. But I mean, has WWE done anything better than this right now in the last 4 or 5 years than writing this storyline with Rollins and Punk and Roman? I mean, I've never seen anyone be able to control multiple characters' storylines and still intertwine them.
That's what I was going to say. The intertwining.
And I mean, it's perfect. Whoever's doing writing for their storyline, perfect.
That's if you look back to the Vince years, you never would see this much future storytelling plans laid out. Mm-hmm. I mean, would you ever have imagined that you would have seen the 4 years of the bloodline being intertwined with things back from the Shield, being intertwined with Punk having left 11 years ago? Like, I mean, who would have thought that you'd combine all of these stories to get us the classic that was that match last night?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The attention to detail, like, is just outstanding. And these 3 guys, and we've talked about this in previous episodes where it just seems like there are different levels of stars in this company. I think one time when we were talking about who are likely people to maybe be able to beat Cody for the belt, right? These 3 guys, these 3 guys, these 3 guys are very clearly the kind of guys, because let's face it, I love Jay and I love Gunther, and Gunther's a great wrestler. He's one of the best in the world, but they're not presenting him the way they're presenting these 3 guys. And that belt on Raw versus Cody's belt, there's a difference. Cody's belt is the belt. Cody is the champion. He's the quarterback. These 3 guys are all presented in such a way where any one of them could beat him, right? Any one of these guys could be presented in a way where they could beat Cody Rhodes to become the champion, or, previously Roman Reigns, right, to be the champion. And I think the in-ring, these guys also showed during this match why this match deserved to be the main event, right? I'm sure that the match today is going to be great between Rhea, Io, and Bianca. I'm sure it's going to be an excellent match, but there was no way, and no way, this match could not have been the main event. This match felt like, of all of the matches yesterday, I think there were some great moments during the card yesterday. This match felt like WrestleMania. This was cinema. Like, I love this from top to bottom. It felt like a big deal. These guys were awesome. They felt like megastars, and I can't wait to see where they go from here.
I mean, there's only one.
Also entangles Cody into all this. Because they all have had interactions with them.
Yep.
So now you can go. I mean, listen, you got storytelling for at least the next 3 years.
Oh, yeah. Easy.
It's more than just Cody, though. They literally can intertwine any of these guys basically with either side. So they want again, one of them to do stuff on Raw. Okay. They want one of them to do stuff on SmackDown. Okay. They literally have, these 3 men have their fingers in so many different pies that doesn't matter who won or lost here. Like, they have, like you said, they have 3 years worth of storytelling just from this match alone.
Yeah, and regardless of who wins tonight, any one of these 3 guys is an immediate credible contender for that belt. Well, Roman seems like he might be the most unlikely to go after Cena. Like, I mean, would it be that far-fetched to have Roman Reigns versus John Cena one more time if John Cena wins? Would it be that far-fetched for Roman, if, say, Cody wins? Is it that far-fetched for Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes to have one more match?
Or run it back.
You know what I mean? And obviously we're going to get a match we already talked about Punk and his history with both guys. Is it that far-fetched to get a match between Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes? Again, this new version of Seth Rollins, is that out of the realm of possibility to get a match between Seth Rollins and John Cena now? You know what I mean? None of it is, and we can go anywhere from here. And I just, top marks all the way
You
around it.
know,
Go ahead.
I just thought of something too. For if Rollins could go after Cena because he could pull almost the same thing as he did with Punk and be like, "Yo, Cena, you've turned into CM Punk, and that's why I'm going to target you."
Exactly.
So even if he's a heel,
Well, also don't forget too, you can this puts pressure on night two because if you're going to end with the main event on day one like this, you got to end it even bigger for night two.
Oh, 1,000%. Yeah.
That's why I said that either something really big. There's two things that can happen in this, and there's no in between. Either it's going to be not so dramatic at the end, where we're kind of like, okay, there's a pen, or it's just another match, or you're going to have something big happen.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you know what? Let's get into that now. Let's get into night two, and let's get into a couple of different things here because I think to your point that brings up an excellent point for night two. I think the way that this ended up getting designed kind of worked out perfectly, right? Because night two is going to present itself, I think, completely differently. And the reason I say that is because one, they purposely took and I know that some people are relatively unhappy about this, but Bailey's not injured. And
all of
they took Bailey out of that match. Why? I mean, it seems very clear at this point it's going to be Becky Lynch, right?
called it.
Like that's a huge. I know you're grimacing, but like let me get my point across here, and then we can discuss it. That's a huge moment, right? Like Becky Lynch is a megastar. We can all agree on that. And having her come out, that's going to be a huge moment. And then we've got Randy Orton's thing, right? Like Randy, still don't know who that's going to be. It seems very likely that's going to be Miro, but I mean, because they did tease that, it looks like Aleister Black might be coming on SmackDown next week. So it seems very likely that it's going to be Miro who answers that call as well. Another huge return there, right? And then obviously all of the drama with the main event as well, which is very likely going to have Dwayne come out as well. And, I mean, Dwayne's a big star as well. So it seems like night two is kind of prepping itself for all of these kind of like pieces to fall in place as well. Well, I don't think there's no way that the main event tonight is what the main event was last night. Like, because I mean, John Cena can't go. Like, those three guys can go. Cody can, but these three guys cannot. John Cena can't go. Like anyone, even Punk. Like Punk is way better. It would be a way better match for Cody Rhodes than John Cena will be. So to both of your points about that, I think night two is gonna have to stand on its own laurels because of the stuff that's going to happen during night two. So I know I just kind of went on a rant there, but I'll pass it over to you, Reese, first to kind of give your thoughts about everything I just said.
No, I can't argue with any of that. I mean, if it is Becky, it's Becky. But just because if you bring Becky, now you squash Lyra. She doesn't matter anymore. You're trying to build her up. I mean, if it happens, it happens. I'm just saying, if it happens, it happens. Just in my opinion, why would you raise a tag belt with Becky at this point?
You're just mad that I actually called something right this time.
You're trying to overshine.
Let me get my shine. I gave you your acknowledgement. Now just acknowledge me.
If it happens, then I give you all the acknowledgement in the world.
Oh my God! Go ahead, Sean, make your point, and then we have to talk about these final scores as well for these predictions. But go ahead, Sean.
What better place to have the man return though than WrestleMania? Like, she's your biggest woman star who hasn't been back in a while. It's the best place to bring her back. It's going to get the biggest pop. She has the history with Lyra. You're going to have that. They'll make a good tag team. They're both Irish. They're both friends. I can see it working well. But then I thought of something else in regards to what you were talking about with it being for Orton's opponent. And Miro, it being Miro, with them announcing the AAA signing. Is there anybody major in AAA that we know of?
Alberto Del Rio.
Yeah, outside of that, I don't know. I don't think there's anybody in AAA that would
not saying for sure, but just a thought I was having that
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if there's anybody. Hey, listen, don't forget about NXT. That's all I'm saying. I mean, you can bring up Trick. You can
Oba.
bring up even if you have Oba spot, I don't care. You can bring any one of those guys up to have a match with them.
That's the wrong Big O.
Don't forget, he did wrestle. What's his face already once?
Javon.
Yeah, he already wrestled it once, and it was a good match.
It was a damn good match.
So
yeah.
Money down there, who knows? But I just in my opinion, I just don't know why waste Becky in that spot.
It's not a waste.
Wouldn't you want to wouldn't you want to have her involve herself in a major storyline when she returns?
Not if you don't have a spot for her right away.
Well, that's why it's no point in bringing her back. That's my point.
If you can bring her back to enhance another story, why not? I mean, she's a big enough talent that she brings the eyes to another story. Especially with the fact that WWE looks like they're wanting to go back to pushing the women's tag belt across all three brands again. I think that's a good thing.
But why push only the women's then? Because you're not doing the same thing with the men's.
Because they have a tag team on each one.
Yeah, I think that's a different animal. And I think even more, I don't even know if this will have anything to do with the tag team belts. I think even more than that, that women's intercontinental championship desperately needs a star to be holding it, because if they weren't going to put that belt on Bayley, which they obviously didn't, right? They had the opportunity to put that belt on Bayley, which now looks like it should have happened, right? Like, even if you have Bayley get injured,
mm-hmm.
you have that belt on Bayley, and Bayley's a star. And it kind of annoys me a little bit that they are doing Bayley dirty like this a little bit, because I love Bayley. And I hope that, I mean, I know she's a professional and she'll go and put anybody over that she has to put over. And I didn't particularly love that Mercedes Moné kind of tried to tell her to come to AEW. That was a little bit.
What?
There was a tweet. Mercedes Moné put a tweet out where she was like, he had a picture of Bayley and basically was like, hey, more or less like a $ come to AEW kind of thing. And I was like, she's not going to go to AEW.
To be buried by Mercedes?
Well, first of all, Bayley's got like 4 years left on her deal. She just resigned like last year. So Bayley's not going anywhere for a while. But also, so we can just kind of squash that. But also, secondly, like, I just think that women's intercontinental belt desperately needs a star. And if you weren't going to put it on Bayley, which they obviously didn't, that's the bigger match there, right? Like Becky and Lyra, and either you make Lyra look like a megastar by having her beat Becky Lynch, or you put that belt on Becky and you have Becky just run it for a little while and just go up and down the roster and make that belt look awesome. And then when you do have somebody finally beat Becky, it does for that belt what Gunther did for the IC belt over, however long he had it, by making that belt look awesome again. Because that IC belt looked like dog shit for a long time. Then they put it on Gunther and that belt became awesome. Went to Sammy for a little while and now it's on Breaker, and Breaker looks like $1 million with that belt, so.
I mean, but only pushback I give is if you're going to do that with Becky and Lyra, who turns heel? You have to have a heel in that match, because
Becky, obviously.
Hold on, look at it. So if Becky wins that match, right? Lyra's a forgotten wrestler now. There's no point now to even try to push her anymore. And if you let Lyra win, she has to be a heel in order to win it.
What?
Because don't forget now, Becky's over with the crowd. Whoever beats her will get booed. So somebody has to be a heel in this.
Becky's always been that anti-hero.
Huh?
Becky's always been like a female Stone Cold, though. She's never really been a true heel or a face.
She went heel before she left. They turned her around to a face. Well, she went heel for a while, turned her around to a face before she left. Now, you got a decision to make. If you're going to go that route, you have to make Lyra the heel. Because she beats Becky, it won't be accepted. No fan's going to accept her beating Becky, just because Becky's been gone for a long time and she has too much of a fan base. Now what do? Lyra has to turn heel in order for that to happen. Because if she doesn't, no one's going to accept her being the champion right now, with her being the only holding the title for this short period of time.
Yeah. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens with all of this. And I think that, there are pros and cons to everything that they did. And, we'll certainly debate this when we talk about, we give our night two review tomorrow for everything that's going to be happening tonight. But overall, guys, give your final thoughts on night one and your overall ranking. And I'll start with you, Sean, where give your overall ranking and what you thought of night one.
Night one, I give it 4 out of 5 stars. It was other than the typical match two of the card, it was top to bottom a very good event. Top tier production, match work, everything was great. I loved it. I'm a little worried that night two won't be able to hold up to that standard. Fingers are crossed, but I think it's definitely good to set that high of the bar to start off the event. I loved it, and hopefully it keeps going.
Yeah, I think we started out shaky in night one, just a little bit. I mean, we opened up great. Then, the two matches after that were kind of like, okay, still trying to warm up a little bit. Then it ended with a bang. I definitely give it 4 out of 5 stars night one. Outside of that New Day fiasco and
Debacle.
yeah, the way the Stratton match kind of ended, and then hearing from, I don't think we brought it up, but Triple H was, from all the reports are saying, is pissed at Charlotte and Trish's match. He didn't like the way that match went. He didn't like the way how it had to end. He thought it was very sloppy, and like you said earlier, I don't think they're going to get back. I don't think they're going to have them cross paths anytime soon. Yeah. But day one it set the tone. That's why I said day two is going to be very interesting, and you can't have any middling matches in between, and then end the night without a huge bang. Yeah, I think something major is coming for that Cody match. You can't end that. You can have that main event in day one and have that, and then have like some middling ending to night two. I think you're going to get something that we're not even expecting or even thinking of. Mm-hmm. Something will happen in that match, but I give it 4 out of 5 stars. I just can't wait for tonight.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that if it wasn't for the main event last night, I would have said that this WrestleMania was average. Like, I mean, it was fine. Like, I was, fine. It didn't feel like WrestleMania until that main event last night. That main event made it feel like WrestleMania and moved me from a 3 out of 5 to a 4 out of 5. So overall, I had a great time. I thought the wrestling was great, minus the second match I didn't much care for. We kind of beat that one to death. But yeah, overall, good show. Can't wait for tonight. So guys, that was our breakdown of WrestleMania 41, night one. As always, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for, coming along this ride with us and help us get to 100. We're getting there, and we really appreciate all your support and all of your feedback. So, please pass this along. And if you like this content or you don't like this content, hit us up in the comments and let us know what you think. If you think Sean's wrong, if you think I'm the best predictor in the world here, which, by the way, quickly, I'm at 5, Terrence is at 5, and Sean is at 4 overall. So we're going to keep the season 1 going of our predictions all the way through to next year's WrestleMania. So if you guys want to play along with us for tonight, hit us up in the comments as well. So thank you so much, guys, for the support, and we'll see you again real soon.